congrats on the show.
Thank you.
I think I want to start off by asking just what are audiences going to see about the music industry that we don't typically get to see?
I would say literally everything they haven't seen. And I'm not going to name shows or name any other entities, but it's kind of like 15 years ago when nobody saw famous chefs or cooks or food or any of that. They didn't know how it was made, how ideas came, how restaurants formed, all the things that we're now obsessed with. No one's done it for music yet. And this is the first show that does it. So, you listen to, without knowing, you listen to probably 20, 30 songs a day, just walking around, doing life. We're going to help explain how these songs come about. How do hit records get written? How are they made? We're going to, for the first time, let people back behind the curtain.
And normally that's not done. When you write songs, that's kind of intellectual property. That stays with you. You don't let anybody come in and see how you do anything, because at the end of the day, you have to wait for that record to get to the world. So they're actually getting to see the whole process and before we even put it to the radio.
Right.
What do you think, Shane?
I mean, it feels like we're showing everybody magic tricks, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like Brian said, you hear 30 songs a day just doing life, and they're in your consciousness, but nobody really stops to think, where did the song come from? Whose story was that? The artist, if they're a great interpreter, they make you think that they wrote it, and a lot of times they do, but a lot of times they don't.
Right. There's this whole process that goes into it. And I want to know a little bit about y'all's songwriting process.
Yeah.
Secrets.
Let's start with the basics. Do you write on a pad? Do you write it in your phone? Any scrap of paper you can find
Ester,
when
you
you
go
come with an
first. You
idea?
go
I freestyle. I write right onto the microphone like Jay-Z. So, my memory is short, so I get it straight to the point, and I write it all on the microphone, yeah.
You have
Shane?
to be recording anytime there's
Every
a
time.
microphone on around her, because words just come out like it's stream of conscious.
Well, what about you?
For me, I like to type it on a computer so I can see it, arrange it, puzzle piece it. I definitely like to see it all laid out, and that way if maybe something that came earlier you didn't think you were going to get to use, later you may already have a second verse and not even know it. So it's like, oh, we have that down there. So I like
That's
to
what
just see it all on a
engineering is
page. Yeah. Well, I do it all.
Yeah.
I do gibberish. A lot of times I do stream of consciousness writing, so I'll get like the title of the song or a concept or one line that falls out of the sky, and I'm not actually listening to what I'm saying, and the person next to me goes, did you just say Bonnie and Clyde, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, I guess I did. And then I'll typically take that gibberish, listen back to the melody, because I'm melody first, and then I'll fill in phonetically, like, what's the story I'm trying to tell? What's going to give me the most goosebumps? What's going to make people like react the most, and that makes me feel the most emotion? That's how I do.
So do you guys all have like song ideas constantly in your head? Like, do you have some now that maybe you're trying to work out and figure out?
What
how
was
you
the
wanna go
last
about
one? It was like I went too far to turn back now.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if we're, doing things like this, one of us will say something, and we'll
Yeah.
kind of like wink at each other and be like, remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
100%.
Because even things like, even when he says a phrase like 100%, something we say all the time in our regular vernacular, you never know where that might show up, because that's what we're looking for, is something you've heard 100 times but maybe never heard it in a song, and about a relationship or about something that's never been turned on,
Yeah, the dream situation, I think, for a long time, we call them in songwriting world there's hit records, there's like smashes, right, even bigger, and then there's what we call
big song.
what we call copyrights.
Yes.
Copyrights, and you'll hear that term. And the copyright is like your grandkids are gonna potentially go to college because of that song.
Yeah.
And we're searching for those, and a lot of times those come about through the beginning of every songwriting session, with whether you're in country, music, rock, doesn't matter what it is. The first hour is just talking. We're talking with the artist, we're talking amongst ourselves. And a good songwriter is listening, and there's like an app running in the back of our brain that's waiting for you to say something, like he said, 100%.
Like, we're waiting for him to say
Yes,
something.
yeah, exactly,
Like,
exactly.
we're going to take it, because I would take Bonnie and Clyde, and then I was like, I
you
like
go.
the
Yeah.
app thing running through your brain, and
Yeah.
I was like, yes, you're like something
You're
running through my
constantly-
brain. Yes, I took it.
When you write a song, do you know immediately, oh, this one's going to be huge? Or is it usually a surprise?
I think that the reason you get into songwriting is at an early age, well, whenever you start, that initial feeling, all it takes is one instance of you telling yourself, I think this is a smash, and then a year, 4 or 5 years later, it is, because that's the drug. The second that you you're convinced that it's a smash, and then it comes out and it is, then you're like, I was right once, I can do it again. I captured lightning in a bottle, I can do it again. And we've all felt the same way.
Capture light in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle. There it is.
The thing is, I've always been around great A&Rs, you know, Rock Nation, Stargate, Chris Anacute, who would tell me like
Ron Tater, Shane McAnally.
Yes. But
best
you know, like in the music industry, they have A&Rs that you know place your songs with, and they really can hear music. You know, so it's great that you know what you're feeling, but it's from you. So you like, can I get a second opinion? And once you get that second opinion, I just think that at least you know it's going somewhere. Like,
And if that second opinion doesn't match mine, I'll just go find a different second opinion.
Exactly.
And the third and final secret to songwriting is geography. Oklahoma, Texas. We're within a 100-mile radius, all from the
Yes.
same area. So
And
I'm,
we're
just,
from
I'm
the
not
same
saying
place,
we're
not
from the
even-
same town.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
it's in the water.
In the water.
I gotta make my way over there.
That's a tie.
Go drink.
Yeah.
Tell me, we're gonna have some pretty amazing artists, right, guesting on this show? And
Yeah, some huge artists. We've got Signore Charlie Puth. We have Macklemore.
Like what?
You like how I did that?
Will I Am.
Will.i.am.
Well,
Jonas
Black Eyed
Brothers.
Peas. Will.i.am's representing the whole Black Eyed Pea crew. Jonas Brothers.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw, the movie, that was one of the Fast and Furious like spin-off, which is huge.
Megan Trainor.
Megan Trainor, Aloe Black. We also have Kelsey Ballerini, Old
A lot of
Dominion,
people,
a
like-
Jeep commercial. Like, it's cray.
Yeah.
No one else has done anything like this. It's so good that I just sit out. Basically, the last 3 days, all I've done is watch our episodes on repeat.
Oh, did you?
That's how good it is.
How do I look skinny?
Oh.
You look thinner than you did when we
Actually,
started. When we did
well,
it.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
actually.
so, are you convinced that some hits are gonna come out of the show?
I'm convinced some hits will come out of this show. I'm convinced that, you know what's even more important than that, for me personally, from this show? I am positive that there are aspiring songwriters from around the country, because I already know the stories, that are now professional songwriters who have already written hits since the show was filmed.
And I think we got hit writers coming because we're the generation to pass on to the next songwriting community. So the fact that this door has been open for the new songwriters who didn't know that there was a pathway for them, this show will now show them that it is.
And we're also going to see songwriters who came on to write songs for other people emerge as big artists,
Yeah.
because this is going to give them a platform, and you never know what's going to take and who people are going to fall in love with. And so these are songwriters singing their own songs, and yeah, they're pitching them to all those artists we mentioned and John Legend and everybody else. But you know, you're going to see people that you're like, why aren't they singing them? And that's going to be a really fun sort of twist that I'm not sure everybody saw coming.
If you love that video, you're going to love everything on the Access YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button. You can thank me later. Hit it.